Welcome to the NODA Video Clinic Series. I'm Lauren Tisdale.
I'm Nancy Stanton.
And today we are going to be reviewing rides from training level. And today we have, our first rider is Crissteen Miller on Easy Swinger, and she'll be doing training level test 3. The first thing Nancy and I noted about Crissteen and her horse are that they're very nicely turned out. Her horse is a paint, and so all of the white is gleaming, and Crissteen has on a very nice riding outfit, white breeches, and her black coat. So first impression is very nice.
What we both agreed on was we would like to see his mane a little bit shorter or braided for the horse show. He's got a pretty mane, but for showing it could be just a little shorter or braided. The trot work looks very nice. He swings through his back. It's a little tight sometimes. The canter work is where he seems to have more of a problem. The reins get a little bit long at times, and he goes and braces against her.
And when he braces against her, then the rhythm becomes almost lateral. He loses the potential to have a clear 3-beat rhythm. And so then it causes some secondary issues where he loses the gait or falls through the corner. The movement that she's on now, the diagonal, he needed to canter through the corner and trot at X. So one of the things that Nancy and I discussed, because the canter seems to be a little bit of an issue both directions, is from a training perspective, maybe doing some lunge work with him in a long, low side rein or even with outside reins, just to get the horse more comfortable cantering without a rider and working on improving the rhythm so that he gains more confidence in himself, and then when Crissteen rides him, the canter will have better balance.
The walk is nice. You could have a little bit more activity in it. And as you pick up the reins, think a little bit bending here, so he doesn't come so much against your hand, even in the upper transitions. So he doesn't come against your hand and throw his head upside down. Again, his rhythm is good.
Yeah, the trot and the walk work in this test is great. And again, just an opinion, I would even consider riding him maybe a couple of intro tests for a while till you guys gain more confidence together. And then introducing a training level test, because the trot and the walk work, there's a lot of
really
confidence. Good. Yeah, very good. The one thing in regards to Cristeen's turnout is she has these great shiny boots, but they look brand new. We were wondering maybe if she rides in them often, because it seems that she's having a little trouble getting her heel down and getting a little flexion in the ankle, which in turn she's kind of fighting, her own position a bit, and she's not able to really sit down around the horse. Her boots seem a bit stiff. So we were saying maybe she rides in paddock boots and then shows in her boots. So maybe ride in the boots more frequently to help break them in.
Yeah, it takes a while.
Yes.
And a
lot of pain.
A lot of pain, a lot of blisters, a lot of bruising.
Yeah. But aside from the stretch circle, aside from him losing the balance a little bit again, kind of coming at the wall, the stretch is good. And he maintains a nice tempo and great rhythm. And the center line is straight and the halt's very obedient.
Overall, a very nice test. Again, work on the canter work.
Yeah, I think, like I said earlier, the lunging or just overall gain confidence in the canter. He exudes this confidence in the walk and the trot, and you can tell he's a little unnerved in the canter.
Yeah.
So helping him find a better canter and maybe riding in your boots to help you get your leg down around your horse more, and he can feel your seat.
Yeah.
And you just have a little more of a harmonious feeling in the canter work. And one of the things that she wrote that she would like help on was like the shoulders and the outside leg, and we're thinking maybe that was just the position issue.
Right.
That you felt like your shoulders were coming a little forward. So when the reins were getting long.
Too long. Yeah.
Yeah, and your legs coming off of the horse. So a little shorter rein and being able to sit up with your leg down around the horse. So I don't know, maybe the boots would help.
Yeah.
Help that.
Yeah. And good luck with him. He's a nice horse.
Really nice horse. Thank you.
Hi, this is our second rider. This is Niki Sackman with Mercedes Colortyme, a 10-year-old American paint mare. And she is doing training level test 2. Her center line could be a little bit more forward. That would help keep it a little straighter. I know she gets distracted. The turnout, again, her turnout is very good. Nice. I like the black and white. And what Lauren and I both noticed was the reins seemed a little bit short. And we thought if the reins were just a little longer and you could get your elbows bent back over your hips and your hands together, it might help her to become a little bit softer through her top line.
The horse seems to have a very willing attitude and is often looking for guidance. And I think that Niki sits very nicely on the horse. She noted that she had back surgery, so she's a little careful of her back. But we were discussing it, even if, like Nancy said, you bend your elbows, but also think of just bringing your upper body back a little bit. Not even thinking about your lower back where you're going to be careful of it, but just softening your shoulders and bringing your upper body back. That in itself might give your horse a little more security and a little longer rein. She looks like she'll stretch right into the contact. Right into the contact, because there's certainly moments where she softens, and you have the right idea. There's lots of little moments in the test where you supple her before a transition or after a transition, and the horse comes really nicely onto the aid. So you sit quietly and you have very quiet hand, but I think you could even be a little bit more, I hate to say the word active, but a little more suppling with your hand, because your horse is looking for you.
The frame that you have on the stretchy circle is the frame she needs to develop throughout the test.
It's ideal. It changes the whole picture. Yeah,
her whole trot, her stride gets longer. She starts to use her rear end better. But you need to, as she's stretching and working through her back, stay back in your upper body so you can keep pushing her from behind into that contact.
Yeah, often you see on the stretchy circles the rider leans forward. And leaning forward isn't horrible to encourage the horse to stretch, but your arms got a little straight.
Yeah.
So if you think of, if you want to come forward a bit, keep the bend in your elbows and let the horse take the reins out of your hand, so that you show that you can still have contact, but a lighter contact, and she truly stretches over the back, which is what they're looking for. Not too much of holding the head down.
No.
And here is the walk finishes up, and she goes to the corner. The one thing we also noticed is the horse often gets a little left and right in her neck. So I think, too, just thinking about straightness throughout will help steady the overall connection.
And here when she gets a little quick and starts to twist her head, remember a little bit of the outside rein. to help keep her, again, just the straightness and keeping her straight through her body.
Yeah, even on, it sounds a little bit contradictory, but even on a 20-meter circle, you still need to have straightness.
Mm-hmm.
Horse needs to have a sense of kind of where the outside line of the circle
Right.
is and the inside bending line of your leg, so that like through the corners you see these great moments where
Right.
the corner kind of helps you with the bend and the outline, and the horse softens nicely. So she's right there, and
Yeah.
I think on the circles she could have a little more bend and the whole outline
Mm-hmm.
can change. And I think too a little bit in the canter transitions, the same thing. She's so obedient to do
Yes.
what you want when you want, but the lateral
Yeah.
balance, she sometimes loses the feeling of your inside leg. So thinking of even at training level, riding her a little more into the corner, using
Yeah.
the corner to help you for the transition.
Watch the hands don't get too low that you're trying to pull her head down. And remembering to ride both sides of her body at the same time. Because you're so close to really getting high scores with this horse.
Looking
Nice.
as she comes down the center line too, something we noticed, the left stirrup was a little longer. Maybe it doesn't look a whole longer,
No,
but maybe
just a
just the
little
saddle
bit.
is
Yeah.
slid, and or maybe it's a result of you guarding
Your back.
your back a bit. But I think overall this horse is a really cute horse.
Really cute horse.
The basics are there.
Mm-hmm.
So a few key things for your position to help your horse is just think about softening your upper body and
Yeah.
letting yourself just think a little more back,
Yeah.
and that might help soften your lower back and your
Yeah.
seat. And our feeling is you're changing the position
Right.
will help the horse with
Yeah.
the kind of relaxation over the top line
Yeah.
and acceptance of the bit, because your scores were pretty good, but they could probably be
so
sevens
much
and
better.
eights
Yeah.
with just that slight change of the
A
picture.
little bit. Yeah. Good luck with her. She's very nice.
Welcome to the NODA Video Clinic series. Today we will be reviewing a first level test with Rachel Bracker and her 18-year-old warm blood gelding Sammy.
She's doing first level test 3.
So Rachel is very nicely turned out for the show.
Mm-hmm.
Horse is very clean and braided.
For first level, especially first level test 3, 1 too many walk steps from halt to trot. Remember, it reads halt and then trot, not halt, walk, trot. And in the lengthen trot, both Lauren and I agreed, try it in rising trot. I know you're probably working on your sitting trot, you want to move up, but try the rising trot and your lengthenings to get better lengthenings.
This first movement off of K is supposed to be a leg yield. And again, at first level by now, they really want to see that you have a good grasp of the lateral work. And in the leg yield the other direction, it was apparent that you're able to do it.
Right.
But you really want to show clear positioning or bend
Mm-hmm.
and some lateral crossing. So here in the second leg yield, it's much clearer.
Much clearer. He gets a little bit strong. Remember your outside rein, your left shoulder comes forward. Left hand came forward, lost the contact on the outside where he got quick.
So working on the sitting trot, at first level it's optional to do rising or sitting. And Nancy and I, in talking about your ride, think that for now it might be good for you to stay with the rising trot because you have no issue staying with him in the rising trot, and actually Sammy seems to stretch into a little better connection when you do rise the trot. And you have a good seat, but we were thinking maybe your stirrups are a whole too long. Because we saw it mostly in the transitions from canter to trot that it looks like you're reaching a little bit for your stirrups. So in shortening your stirrups, it should help you in the sitting trot. Maybe doing some work without stirrups, which all of us do to just kind of help keep our seat strong. And it certainly helps you find good rhythm with your horse working without stirrups.
The canter here isn't bad. Overall, again, he needs to be a little bit rounder. Watch the contact. His reins get a little bit long. I know he's a big, strong horse, and then he starts to take over a little bit. But watch the reins don't get too long. Here he's a little bit above the bit. And the work without the stirrups, even with the canter work, will help tighten your seat to help keep him together.
And so in the canter to trot canter transition, I think is where we really saw where you naturally can stay with the horse, but it could be even better with your seat being just a little more in the saddle, so your hands don't have to help you through that transition because he does have a lot of power. But in the trot work where you rode a little slower tempo, you had an easier time staying with him.
And it was a nicer trot, a better cadence trot.
From a geometry standpoint, this test is correct. You're riding to the letters correctly. You're coming out to the center line and meeting X.
Transition was a little late. It can happen.
So here again on this last lengthening, especially looking at it from behind, we can see where he offers a really nice forward trot, but I think you'd be better off going with the posting trot to stay with him and to show the horse off a little bit better. And again, on that last center line, although it was straight, there were a number of walk steps. So at first level, you really want to go from trot to halt and minimize the walk steps. It can mean, especially with the straightness and the quality of the halt, it can mean a difference between a 6 and 7 or an 8 even.
Overall, very nice. Work on those little things. Work without the stirrups. He's a nice horse. Looks like you guys have fun together. And good luck with him.
Yeah, good luck.